what happens on a meat-only diet or predominantly meat? Can the microbiome feed on that? And then, because basically by going on a diet like that, it's a type of elimination diet, the next step would be fasting. So what I want to do is look at a couple of these more extreme, quote unquote, metabolic states and talk about what the microbiome feeds on. Obviously, there's still a microbiome there, and changes that happen.
Yeah, so these diets, I think that anytime, let me start by saying this, and this is not just exclusively talking about a meat only diet. I would talk about extremes on both ends, which is that when we go on extreme elimination diets of any variety, there's complexity to that, and there can be nutrients and micronutrients that we miss as a result of that. And that includes whether it's a vegan diet or variations on a vegan diet. Like even if a person were to go vegan, I am not a fan of some of the vegan diets, like a fruit only, things like this. Right. And the alternative would be a meat only diet. And clearly there are some limitations to that from a nutritional perspective. So if we're going to go in these directions, I definitely think that like the layperson should have the support of someone who can give them guidance on how to maintain the balance that they need, acknowledging that extreme eliminations reduce diversity within our diet and as a result put us in a vulnerable position for nutritional deficiencies. What happens with the microbiome? We don't know. We don't have a good study. I can provide different theories, and some of them are more supportive and some of them are less supportive. I will say this: beta hydroxybutyrate, which is of course a ketone, right? Beta hydroxybutyrate, butyrate. These are very similar actually from a chemical perspective. So our body is actually designed, if you think about this, our body is designed to provide some version of short chain fatty acids or something that activates those short chain fatty acid receptors, whether we are feasting or in famine. This is the reason why our metabolism flips into burning fat to create ketones, and ketones include beta hydroxybutyrate. Now, the evidence indicates that beta hydroxybutyrate is not a one-to-one substitute for butyrate. Butyrate is definitely more powerful than the beta hydroxybutyrate, the ketone. But I think that the ketones are essential not just for protecting our brain, but the ketones are also simultaneously essential for protecting our gut within fasted states, low carb states. So that to me is the part of the potential benefit that exists. I do believe that. So let me be clear on one thing: these topics, they can be quite nuanced. And I present them in a way that's my best way of trying to take complex topics and simplify. But don't get me wrong, there are people who their gut needs a break and they rest the gut. And during that time, the gut actually gets stronger. And that actually puts them into a better position in terms of their ability to then move forward. I've never been one to advocate for permanent dietary elimination. I've always been of the belief that if you eliminate, it should be on a temporary basis with subsequent reintroduction. But I am of the belief, I made the knee analogy a moment ago. If you hurt your knee and you lay on the couch all day, you won't feel pain, but you also won't be completely healing that knee. That's true. But also, some people, when they hurt their knee, they do need to lay on the couch for at least a period of time before they start to get back to rehab. Right. So I think from my perspective, if a person were to do a temporary, um, like serious elimination diet, like a carnivore diet, and they find benefit from it, I think that's great. I think that where my concern is when we're talking about going long term and committing to this as if this is your principal dietary pattern for 6 months, 12 months, and beyond that.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch a full episode. I'll see you over there.
I'm just going to say, this has been a game changer for me. I always get my morning sunlight by 9 o'clock. Through that light exposure, you are producing serotonin in the gut, which helps to stimulate your gut motility, which is a healthy gut, is going to ultimately shape your gut microbiome.